The Sporland division of Parker Hannifin proudly sponsors the Advanced Refrigeration Podcast. There are a lot of questions surrounding the transition to A2L refrigerants and a lot of talking heads disseminating nebulous answers. But when your technician is face-to-face with the first A2L transition project, where do you turn for real-world answers about this specific job? Parker Sporland's Virtual Engineer is an innovative online design tool to size and select the correct components for climate control and refrigeration applications. Get your A2L system flow and component selection answers in 3 simple steps. Enter your application details, size, and select products, then download your project files. It's that easy. Try it at absolutely no cost. Visit sporland.com and navigate to the Resource Center. Parker Sporland, leading the charge.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You're awful.
No, I'm not. I don't know what it is. It's natural. I can't. It's like yawning when you don't have enough oxygen. It happens. You realize that?
Yeah, I know.
Just saying.
What are we talking about? More Novar?
We'll talk about more Novar.
Finish Novar. And then we'll be knee deep in Danfoss next week because I'm just elbows and assholes deep in Danfoss.
Yeah, we can go over the wizard that's not the devil.
Yeah.
Like I said, I got that from someone up at Danfoss.
I got to figure out more of it on Monday before we go over it.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. I'm elbows deep in Danfoss case controllers right now, and I just want to eat a bullet.
Cool.
I'm like 22 cans of Duster in.
We'll keep going on that 1 second. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Advanced Refrigeration Podcast. You're the host, Brett Wetzel and Kevin Compass. Yeah, how's your startup going?
Oh, I just want to off myself at this point. This is just, it's so boring verifying all the sensors. Like, it's the most important part of the CO2 startup. Like, holy hell, why does Husband have to have a coil every 3 feet or 4 feet?
Yeah,
much more work.
I was going to say, how many case controllers is that? Probably like 150 at this point, yeah?
No, there's 212 in the store.
Holy shit. Okay, yeah, Husband coils, never mind.
But no, but that's a single case controller per case.
And that's a big store, too, you said,
It's massive store. Like, dude, the amount of glass doors in this store is ridiculous.
Even on the medium temp, right?
Yeah, medium temp, too. Glass doors and all kinds of random cases. And holy hell, I was like, oh, the glass doors went pretty quick. Because they're all just single coils. And then I got to the medium temp, and I was like, oh, stop. All the medium temp glass doors, dude, getting those cases apart is such a pain in the ass.
What, to put them together?
No, to get them apart, like the grating, because they got like these plastic clips that hold the front grates down. So you got to lift them up from the back. And nobody ever puts the pans in the opposite direction. So where you can lift them up from the back. Because you can't lift the pans up from the front.
These are on the new Husband cases,
like the ID cases. There's like
I
saw that.
Clip. I saw that. It's a little black clip goes in the front, right?
Yes. So if you don't put the hole facing the back, everybody thinks the hole goes to the front, like it has for the last 20 years. But you can't do that in those cases because you can't get the tray up.
Yeah, we thought we were taking one apart when I was doing the stuff over in Denver, and the guy's, "What the hell? What the hell? It's stuck on something." I was like, "No, there's clips there."
Yeah,
that was the first time I saw that.
Yeah, it really sucks ass when you're trying to go through all this and you have case setters that don't know what they're doing.
It's funny that you bring that up because I was going to actually, quite honestly, I was literally just bringing up a picture because I wanted to talk to you about this before we get into really what we're talking about. But when we were working on one of those, because I don't have the information. So if anyone here works for Husband or wants to give me the information, that would be just grandiose. I wasn't, until you brought up that case, I wasn't going to talk about it. So now I know exactly where it is. It's just that 1.8 terabytes of information that I got to rifle through that you never want to use to do stuff. My God, I need someone to help me sort all my things.
But those cases, so like the thing you got to be careful with is there's two air bands in those cases. There's like a static air band and there's the normal air band. And if the honeycombs are flipped around, which when they set the cases, we didn't set the cases, the third party did. When they set the cases, they flipped the honeycombs around in every single case where a joint was. So I'm like catching, I'm like, God damn it.
That's the one where I told you where Greg called me up and he said, Brett, I need you to come over here. He's like, how do you put an offset in this? In these S3Cs? I'm like, why do you need to put offset in? He's probably, I think he's like 3/4 of them or whatever of these one set of cases. He was doing a Costco. He was like, hey, man, or no, it was a Sam's Club. He was doing a Sam's Club. And he's every single one of these S3Cs needs like an 8-degree offset. I was like, there's no fucking way. And long story short, I go over there, I stab one with my Cooper because I'm a boomer, and I stab another one, and I'm like, yeah, I do have an 8-degree difference. And I was like, let me just try to move the sensor. And that's when I found out those cases have another temperature chamber, if you will. You know what I mean?
Yep. So it's like a false wall to keep everything from sweating, but it's a pain in the ass just for the fact that the way it's set up, if you don't pay attention, like the first thing I do, if those cases aren't making temp and they're making superheat on the case controllers, I will literally come in and just pull the honeycomb down and figure out where the sensor is.
Yeah, because it's literally it's a 1-inch difference, then you'll get like an 8-degree rise in the damn thing.
Yes, it's always fairly easy to figure it out. You're looking at if it's making temp and it ain't making, if it's making superheat and it ain't making temp, then you definitely got the sensor more than likely flipped around.
All right,
so
now of course I can't find this fucking thing. So I was looking for, you see on a lot of those glass door cases now, they have it looks like someone cut it out with a with a rotozip or something like that, where the sensors installed. Those new dairy cases where they usually, or dairy walls where they usually have the sensor on the top that actually controls the anti-sweats right in the middle. It has a little blinky sensor, right? On the Hussman cases, it doesn't look great. Like they literally, it's, oh, we're gonna take a rotozip and make it like uneven or whatever, and it's like it's in the wall in one of the in between the door frames. Do you have any information on that, on those anti-sweat controllers?
I do. It's in my van though. It's like a paper one. They're fairly simple. You just put them all the way to the right and they work.
What do you mean? Just put them all the way to the right?
It goes off a dew point.
No, I get that. What do you like? There's an adjustment screw somewhere.
Yeah, there's an adjustment screw on the side with a sticker over it.
Pretty. All right, so this is what I was talking about. I finally found it. Share. Look at this thing. It looks like someone took like a rotozip and did a shitty job, a hack job, like putting it in there. See that? It's like cockeye. Like they were like made 4 little cuts in there.
I'm not gonna say anything.
I'm just saying it doesn't look nice. You're not going to say anything. You're going to make me the bad guy now? Yeah, I understand it's the humidity sensor or whatever. It probably does the humidity, the dew point, and it probably does the actual frame temperature itself. But like, I just want more information on it because someone was asking me about it after we were working on it. This was in the frozen food. I don't know if do they use them on the medium temp or no?
I don't think they use them on a medium temp.
Okay. Gotcha. So how's the rest of the startup going?
Once I get through all the case controllers, like it'll be okay. Like the case controllers have been absolutely miserable. We finished on Friday. We finished all the case controller work. It was daunting getting all that shit cleaned up. Like it was bad.
So did you use the upload download thing that we talked about?
No, I haven't got that far yet. I got them all online, and that was part of the battle too, because none of the OEM didn't program any of the addresses in. So I had to sit there and program all the addresses in the 880 and then figure all that out. So that was part of the battle.
What do you mean? All they had to do is you had to have a couple guys go over and go around
and address them all, and then all the medium temps are in the canopies. So you got to take the case canopies down.
Just to push the Bluetooth button?
Yeah. You got to take the case. You have to take the case canopies down. So, thank God, Husband made half of them where they fold over, but then the other half, like the whole floral, it took me an hour and 45 minutes to address one case.
Come on,
because they built a shelf on top of the case, and blocked the canopy.
That's not good.
So I had to cut a hole through the shelf where I thought the fucking thing was, and then reach my hand down there and hit the Bluetooth button.
There's a customer out there, I can just say it, Publix, they, for the Bluetooth thing, so no one can just go around and connect to the cases randomly with the app or whatever. There's like a lock in the manager's office that you can actually disable the Bluetooth from actually working. If you try to do the Bluetooth, try to hit the Bluetooth button, I'm 99% positive on the 55s and the newer case controllers, it'll say LOC lock. So
What?
you can't, I swear, this was still when I was teaching that thing. I did a class down in Florida somewhere. Fort Myers or something, like, because anyone could walk up to, let's just say you're a refrigeration guy and you have the S3C app. You could walk up to an S3C and freaking do whatever you want. You turn off, whatever.
Yeah, for 10 minutes.
Just saying, you can still do it.
Yeah, turning it off for 10 minutes and you got to do nothing.
Yeah, Publix actually I don't know if they do it on every single one now, but there's a key lock in the manager's office. You have to go in, turn that, and then it actually enables the Bluetooth. And I think it does it via like a digital input or something.
So there's a wire pulled down to every case.
I'm assuming. I don't know how else you do it. Either that or they do it digitally. That would actually make more sense. It's probably digitally. It's probably a digital in that goes to something that essentially it's almost like a big enable or something.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. I did notice that though when I was up in Colorado. Like I thought it was just a thing, like just a young kid thing because I was working with a bunch of kids. But every single person there, that's crazy. That's crazy. Every single freaking person. That's crazy. All right. So will you have the rack start next week?
No, we got to go through the racks next week and then get everything else cleaned up. And yeah, I don't know.
Maybe we'll do it. Maybe we'll do an FTE refresher.
Yeah, I got to go through that. I was going through the FTE stuff and kind of getting that stuff looked through. The only thing with the FTE, it's been like, God, there's just so many fucking valves in that rack. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot shoved in there. And then we got a leak on one of the tanks. So, yeah, they're going to try to take it this morning. So it's going into a stainless valve out of the tank, and they had a real shit weld. So they ground it out last night and ground the root out, but they had to cut 5 lines out of the way to get to it. So we'll see. We'll see if they're going to be able to fix it tonight or today. But yeah, I don't know. It's so overly complicated.
Yeah, and you have to make sure that all their valves are open a certain way and blah, 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 blah. But they do mark them very well. We
need to go back to zero zone where everything is just a simple rack.
That's the way, you know, Bob tells me all the time. He's like the simplicity is the best.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to overcomplicate it. Like we were talking about, one of the customers we're doing some stuff for wants to do hot gas because basically they have hot gas currently. They want to go CO2. They also don't want to have to pay for like XHP and shit. So it was like, you can go the Carnot way, or you can go simple zero zone way.
I think hot gas with CO2 sucks ass. It's just ass. Every which way I've seen it done, it sucks.
So this isn't really done a lot in Matthew from Michigan. If we're boring you, I'm sorry. We'll work on that. But no, so in industrial type processes, what they do is like they step down the pressure off the discharge line. You get the sensible heat, right? I think what they should do, and this goes the same for the Carnot rack. I think there should be, on some of the industrial jobs that we've done that I've trained on, they also put another valve leaving like just say like the discrete header. And so in essence, if you just have the line coming right off the discharge line, regulates that down, let's just say 4 bar above the flash tank, which would be about 60 pounds. You're just getting that sensible heat. But if you have another valve on the return or the discrete header before it goes back in the flash tank, you basically set that for 2 bar, which would be 30 pounds. And yes, I'm right. 2 pounds.
Yes.
I just want to make sure because I'm tired this morning. But anyway, so my thing is, if you have another valve on the discrete, Now you're able to control your latent change a little bit better. And that's because I had this conversation yesterday with Bob, and I was like, Zero Zone doesn't do it. All these other racks that you've designed for other industrial clients, he said, it's because the coils are big. I said, man, I think it should have it, because then you could you're not just sailing it in there, and then it would help with your flash tank pressure not going all over the place when you go in the defrost. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know.
You create more liquid.
Every time I've done it with hot gas, it sucks. It's like,
what do you mean it sucks?
Like it's piss poor defrost. It's generally below freezing. Like it's just unless you have kick ass like heat coming out of the thing, it's just not great.
That's my point. Because what is you're gonna be like, oh, no, fucking PT chart. I was gonna say, what's 560 on
my daughter?
I know. 560. Sorry, once again, Matthew from Michigan, so apologies. Yeah, if you do 560 pounds, right, that's almost 41 degrees. So if you were to control that, excuse me, on the other side, coming out of the coil before you go in the flash tank, you could essentially get more of that latent heat exchange, and then you get a smoother defrost, I think.
I don't know. In big coils, absolutely horrendous with hot gas.
No, and that's what I'm saying. So like that's what Bob was saying. He's the reason why they do it industrial is to get that latent heat exchange for the bigger coils. So my point being is that would probably help immensely in like a Costco or like a bigger facility out there. Because he said for cases you typically don't really need it.
Yeah, I would, for simplicity's sake, I never would say this, but electric defrost is king for CO2.
I'm gonna do a science experiment. I gotta do some training on some hot gas racks here coming up shortly here.
It's too overly complicated for what it is, and people can't work on it.
The one manufacturer is fairly overcomplicated, but no,
heater make hot coil melt water.
Yeah, but you already got the heat from the CO2. Anyway, sorry, we're boring Matthew. Let's continue with what we're doing.
Stop it. He apologized.
It wasn't about to apologize. I'm just breaking his balls now. All right, so we are going to be talking. We'll finish up the talk about the Novar stuff.
Yeah, let's finish the Spectrum stuff.
We did the Spectrum stuff.
Or what are we doing? Slopus?
No, IXOs.
IXOs. All right, bring up IXOs.
I'm getting there. I'm being cautious. Browser history, okay? Relax.
Browser history.
No. There we go. Bah. So one of the first things we can talk about, since a lot of these people that are going to be doing these conversions, they're converting over the Spectrum stuff over to the IXOs. There's a couple different versions of the IXO, but most importantly, let's talk about the ES1 first. I don't have any information on the ES3, so if anyone wants to give that over to me.
Somebody just slap the 3 on the front of it.
Yeah, essentially, I think the base is the same. The only difference is like the brain and such.
Okay, so this one, guys, this always throws me for a loop. So at the top, you got port 1 and 2 on the actual ES1 itself. Then you got these expansion ports on here. Now, it doesn't go across the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It goes 1 and 2 on the top of the ES1. Then 3 is the first expansion module top. Then 4 is the bottom. Then it goes 5 is the next expansion. Because you could have an RS32 port, or you could have another RS45 expansion module. You could build just how Brett has it shown on here. It doesn't necessarily mean that's how it is. So those expansion modules dictate that.
Yeah, so, you could have one that just doesn't have one here at the bottom, and you can have it on top. So maybe it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But in this example, it's 1, 2, 3, and then if you have another one down here, 4, 5. If you had another one down here, this would be 6, and so on and so forth. Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly how it is. It's confusing. So this thing can do anything. It is a Honeywell
JACE
controller. So it can do BACnet, Modbus, LawnWorks, TCP/IP stuff, Ethernet over BACnet, like you name it. It could do anything. Spectrum, which is Novar's proprietary network. Hell, it could probably communicate with the Copeland board if it wanted to.
Yeah, and also remember the ES1 is usually always hooked up to COM port one. I'm
So
sorry.
What the hell is OBEX?
I don't know. I can look it up. Never anything nice.
What? This is a Jace controller, guys. These are all over building management for like huge buildings. They took a product and they're owned by Honeywell, so they obviously took their hardware product and then put their spin on it. This has been around for forever. These Jace controllers are everywhere.
What do you think the purpose is why we never went Jace in refrigeration?
I think it's too overly complicated for what we're doing. And most of the stuff we do is canned, like meaning canned applications. Think about it. You're controlling a circuit. Okay. A circuit at Walmart gets controlled pretty much the same way the circuit at Target does. It's got a few minor differences, but like at the end, we have both of the same goal. We're making food cold and trying to keep coils defrosted. You're going to overcomplicate it, then nobody's going to be able to work on it. I think the Jace controllers are too locked down with Honeywell, and that's why they get a bad rep with Novar, because the way the screen is, it's very hard to see certain things. So I think it's why it gets a bad rep. But I don't know. It's just, this is the different engine. These other companies have invested so much money in their own proprietary engines. They're not going to ditch it and go with somebody like Jace.
Yeah, so I'm reading here Niagara AX OBEX guide. So basically, I guess it's anything on Niagara. I'm assuming the guys that are listening don't crucify me for getting this wrong, but it also says something about Distech controls too. Because Distech is basically JC.
Dylan's just writing things down right now.
I know, because he's bored, not doing anything.
So it's a very versatile controller, guys. It can have Wi-Fi attached to it. If it has the little antenna that comes with it that I've never seen used, it's a very versatile controller for what it is. It is a completely open PLC, or it could be completely canned.
Today's episode is sponsored by the RefRushield RDP Series differential pressure monitors from Westermeyer Industries, now available for transcritical CO2 systems in addition to other common pressures and refrigerants. When the filter element of your coalescing oil separator is contaminated, it can hurt your system's performance and efficiency. But how do you know when it's time to replace that filter? Wait too long to replace, and you could end up with a nasty filter blowout. But replacing too often can be a waste of time and money. The answer is installing a differential pressure monitor. The RDP Series differential pressure monitors, including the new transcritical CO2 model, are available now from Westermeyer Industries. To find out more information, email sales@westermeyerin.com. That's WESTERMEYERIN.com.
Don't go down the rabbit hole right now.
Why? Matthew?
No.
Oh, just for another reason?
No, the rabbit hole of OBEX.
Okay.
Older Novar to newer stuff, you're going to have to invert to COM. So you need to invert, when you land the COMs, you need to invert to black and white on either the board or the actual controller itself for Spectrum for it to get it to work. For the backnet stuff, you do not need to invert to COM. Some third-party stuff, you need to invert to COM. So generally my rule is if it ain't working, invert to COM, then try it again. Where's the lie? Some stuff you do, some stuff you don't.
No, I know.
Even
it's just
for Copeland, some Modbus and backnet things, you need to invert to COM, some you don't.
It's just funny because it's like some of the other stuff we say. Oh, it's just one of those things you just have to rescan.
Yeah, don't do a rescan with the 150 case controllers. It's going to take forever.
Yeah, that's not good.
Other than that, you have an LCD screen or you have the ability to connect via the LAN port. I really wish they would open up the other LAN port back up and on password protected like they used to. So you get, it's like a whole different controller versus the screen versus having your computer plugged into it.
That's what you're gonna have to show me that because I've seen Honeywell guys do that, and
I can't get it to work on the ES1 anymore. I don't know if they patched the security on it. You used to be able to plug into it and get on the secondary IP address, and they had a user, like a guest username and password, but it doesn't work any longer. So it wants you to download Flash Player, which
doesn't exist. I have a copy of it somewhere.
I do, but it doesn't work. Like when you try to go do it, I will say this. That LCD screen is shit. compared to the computer. Compared to the computer.
Okay.
The computer, like Novar is a completely different control system on the computer.
You know what would be really nice if they just literally take all the access away, right? That's fine. But have almost like microthermal, like MT, where you actually have a computer, not in the motor room, but because those motor rooms, yeah. But what I'm saying is have the computer up because it totally I can't even describe. It's like it shows you everything.
Yes, you could see everything. You could see everything on one screen generally, and like you could do more resets on it. Like you have more access to resets, and then like the graphing features on the computer are like not even close to the graphing features on the LCD screen. The LCD screen is terrible for that. It'd be okay if this was like a rooftop rack or whatever, but I'm not shitting you. The computer and Novar are completely different. It's faster. It updates better. You have way more graphing points you could see. There's tons of graphing points you could see that you can't even see on the LCD screen if they aren't programmed. So, or the layout on the LCD screen isn't done to the liking. But I will say this, I like the ES1 on the computer. Like it's night and day difference.
I agree. I totally agree with that. No, there's nothing really else I can say about it, but it's just if no one's ever, usually the guys that come out to do the commissioning on it for a rolling remodel or anything like that, they'll have that up. Shout out to Wayne if Wayne's actually listening.
But just the comm statistics, like the comm troubleshooting thing on there.
Oh my God, yeah. Because I thought on the ES1 it had on the ES1, but it's not. It's the lingo type one where it actually shows you the errors. That's amazing when doing like comm issues because then you see, all right, this one the comms look good, and then you'll see like a bunch of errors on these ones. Oh, the star is probably right there. You know what I mean?
Fantastic job on the E3 with the advanced comm statistics stuff. Fantastic job.
And that's what it should be. It's tech easy. Like it tells you like where your problems are.
Yes. Same with MT. Like when you're doing network quality tests, and it just shows you basically what board is not good. So yeah. But modules on here, guys, you can basically do anything they have. You got the entire gamut of modules they've had in the past. So your ETMs, your IOM2s, your I8IMs, and then you got all your XIO stuff and your RCC stuff. So your RCC stuff is going to be your case controllers and your 1081s, your 521s, your 1041s. The 521s are the original case controllers, the original CO2 stores. Really sucks when you got to put a 1081 in this place because I can't ever get them to stay working right. Like they just bounce in and out of comments. It seems like when they're on the network with a bunch of 521s, but that's either here or there. But like the XIO family stuff, like the again is another Honeywell product. Like it's been around for a long time, and they're fairly nice. Like it is a snap together board train like Danfoss or microthermal. It's DIN rail mounted, which makes it nice. You could split the boards apart fairly easy.
If I stop sharing, if you look right there.
Yeah. Yep. That's XIO stuff. So they got the dip switches on there for the hand auto off. You got the inputs, outputs. It's finally a multi-purpose board is what it is. It's nice ass crack.
Damn it. So the mother of Christ. Anyway, so I hate you. I hate you so much right now. It's like when we heard that. Remember that for one of the first podcasts we did, all of a sudden you hear someone say, "Jake, are you pooping?"
Yeah,
start pooping. No, but the other thing I was going to add about this is that you also do have the board. You'll still have the IXO board, but like sometimes you'll have an S at the end for Spectrum. So it actually talks on the Spectrum protocol. So like you don't have to run everything because I think these are talk via BACnet.
Correct.
But
they make Spectrum conversion kits. So
it's just an extra letter at the end. It's like an IXO blah blah blah, and then it has an S at the end for Spectrum.
The only problem is they have to reprogram it if you're changing so you can't just grab a Spectrum condenser board, an XIO Spectrum condenser board, and just throw it in there and be like, oh, cool, it's going to work. No, they got to program it first. So you got to send in the wonderful PCR form and resend it 4 more times. Can we get an updated digital copy of the PCR form, please? So we aren't filling it out in Word and then trying to resubmit it. And I got a bunch of electricians trying to do it that can't use computers.
Can't use brooms, can't use computers.
Well, let's be honest. 99% of guys don't have a laptop. And if you got to edit the form on a phone, it's almost impossible.
Yeah. So we have the XIO 8CT. The 8CT, that's your
They don't make an EPR board, do they? Like just a straight like EPR board without being a 1081.
That's a very good question. I don't know.
I don't think they do.
I haven't seen electronic expansion or electronic CDS. I've never seen one.
I've seen them on the 1081s in there for controlling the liquid outlet pressure regulator, subcooler, that type of setup. But I've never seen like a full on XIO EPR board. Like,
well, Ed Kern was supposed to call me back. I'm waiting for you, Ed. Give me a call back.
Yeah, I personally like the XIO stuff. They're fused, so they have replaceable fuses now. So if you blow short something, if you have a oopsie-daisy with a time delay, you wire it wrong and blow it up, you don't blow up the board point anymore.
Or you know what? I don't think they do because you have the UI, which is input and output. So I think they just do. I think yes, I saw these boards, but it was just nothing but freaking Sporlan boards. You know what I mean? The
IB boards.
Yes.
So they were just using the old IB boards then.
Yes, but instead of using the old analog output that we showed last week, it was just they're using the analog output from here, just going to the Sporlan SP boards or whatever. So yeah, this is what you were talking about as far as them. You don't have to you have the other plug here. You could basically probably just do the communication like with a plug. So like with Danfoss, right? You only have so much length. Was it Yoder? Someone was telling me that I thought they were making like something that you could extend the module down. Oh, I forget what the damn board number is called, but you can basically extend it down. It doesn't have to be in the full train because they do it on the pack controllers when they get too heavy with all the inputs and outputs. Up here at the top, there's all your backnet switches. So we're all used to see Copeland where 1 has a value of 1, 2 has a value of 2, 3 has a value of 4.
Novar is opposites. It's off is on and on is off.
Let me go through the addressing first. So you can go up to 1, 2, 4. Wait, 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, and 128.
Yeah.
So you basically, I forget, you'd have to add all those numbers together, but that's a lot of fucking addresses.
So what I do with those is I download an app called Dip Switch Calculator.
Yes.
And then just invert it in your head because it's set up for a standard. And just remember, Novar is different than everybody else. So off is on and on is off. So with Copeland, up is on for the dip switch, and with Novar, down is on.
Yeah, so here, this one that I found does up to 9, but move out of my way. Stop. Share screen. I'm just going to do the entire screen. So here, look, I just found this guy. So you could do address number, 128, and see how it just did number 8. And then if you had
the opposite.
Yes, I'm just saying though. Let's do number 67. There you go.
I swear to God, if I hear one more kid fucking say that, I'm gonna start fucking freaking out.
67. I started giving my kid really complicated math stuff, and I'm like, "Hey, what's the square root of 4,489?" And I was like, "Go ask your teacher."
Every time my daughter says it, I shut her phone off from the app.
You're a jerk. But yeah, so you can see what it did. This has a value of 64, and then we need to add a 1 and a 2 to that, which would give us 67.
You're such a jerk.
I know. Anywho. All right, so that's essentially the type of calculator that you got, right? All right, so back to this stuff. You have your comms, you have A positive, B negative, and then shield, and then your power. And like Kevin said, all these are trained together. just stacked up together. This one right here is an IXO 8. So 8 in, yeah, these are inputs and outputs, right?
No.
It's a universal input. I'm sorry. Yeah, universal input. So it's nothing but it can be a digital input or a analog input. Yeah. And so you can see you have your 20 volts and 5 volts.
So this is the weird thing. So on these, you could use them as analog outputs also.
These ones.
Yes.
I just asked that and you're like, no.
Analog outputs. You said digital outputs.
Damn it. Yes, that's what I meant. Yes.
God damn, I keep saying
That's all right. You can say whatever you want because what happens is I do a stellar job. Okay.
So on here, guys, you have a heartbeat to the right where the heart is. So that's telling you got board talking from board to board. Then you got your backnet activity light, which is going to be like your TXRX light. So that's telling you got your backnet comm activity. And then you got your power light, which is going to be green, should have power. So the power light should be lit up green. The other two should be flashing to tell you have back.
I just asked that. I'm sorry.
No, you did not. You said digital.
I'm sorry I said digital.
You're old.
I didn't sleep well last night. And then my Earl Grey.
Imagine why.
I hate you a lot. Anyway. So universal inputs 0 to 10, you can't do 4 to 20 as well, which is weird because I think, like, why do we have to have that special CT board then?
Sell one more board.
Okay, whatever.
This is probably putting too much power on the board.
Maybe 500 to 100K digital pulse counter at 20 hertz at 50% duty cycle, or as analog outputs. Can be used as analog outputs. You can see here, these are 10 VA. Usually, I don't know why, but Novar always sends just a 40 VA transformer. So remember, when you're doing any kind of conversion here, we talked about this with the Spectrum as well, knowing what the VA is, so you know how many boards you can have in a stack. And the nice thing is, going back up to the board, you don't have to run. If you have one train that's 3 boards long here, and then another train underneath that's three boards down there, you don't have to run the comm and the power together. You can have one comm loop running from whatever to whatever, and then run 2 separate transformers. It's not going to affect it.
Correct.
So there's that. But then we have this one. Yeah, this one right here, the IXO 80CT. Same setup, except for it has whatever they're calling CIs, current inputs, and power button or power light, transfer light, and heartbeat. Same scheme as far as how it's wired up. Same address thing as far as the backnet address. No, man, it's lower VA. Look, it's 4 VA.
Yeah.
So I don't know what makes it different.
Just does.
How does a positive track on a Plymouth work? Just does. Now look at this also right here. Here's a good little cheat sheet right here for your DP switches. Right, yeah. All right, and then we have the IXO.08, which is the relay out. Now this is I guess this is the right one, because there's another version where it says H. H stands for hand. That's where you'd have dip switches like the controller that I have up yonder. That one has an H on it because that one has the actual hand, the override switches on, which I think is awesome for compressors on loaders. But yeah, same setup. It's a Class C set of contacts because it has common, normally open, and normally close. Is there anything else you want to add about this, man?
No, those boards are pretty straightforward.
Okay. Fused. Oh, they're 5 amps, 5 amp glass fuses. So please don't throw in a 10. Otherwise, you'll make it go smoky smoke. 10 VA. So if you're trying to figure out how many are on the thing, you know, how many boards you're allowed to have on the same transformer. There you go. Then we have the same board, except for it has the HOA switches. It's not homeowners association either.
There's no reason to not order the board with the switches ever.
Costing, probably just costing.
Yeah,
I think this would be awesome for compressors and loaders, and definitely Circuits. I was in there.
Yeah, when I want to force defrost in the freezer for 2.5 hours while I go to lunch and let the freezer defrost, it's a solid block of ice.
You don't ever take lunch.
I don't.
I usually hear you bitching at everyone else. Oh, you
No,
need lunch for it. You're fat.
I had to take lunch day before yesterday, and it made me mad.
It makes you tired after.
Yeah, everybody gets useless after lunch. Work harder. Red Bulls and energy drinks.
Red Bull, nicotine, and anger. Here's your HOA switches, relay override. So H means hand energized, off de-energized, and then auto is just it's going to be running off of Novar.
Yeah, these are pretty simple, guys. Just make sure you don't leave them in hand.
I like the fact that they're recessed. That's one thing that I really dig.
Oh, yeah, the other ones were easy to hit.
Yeah. Yes, I don't like that. It's almost like the Comtrol ones. You know what I mean?
Oh, my God. You know how many times I've been screwed by one of those? You've been working in a panel and accidentally hit one of them? Ugh.
Yes. Like I said, we had this cat that used to work with us. We started calling him Turtle because he put his backpack on at the end of the day. And he wouldn't do it with EMS boards. He'd do it with the boards on the, or he would do it on the circuit switch.
I will admit, I am not the best about not leaving circuit switches off. That is like my number one, negative thing. It's like I've left quite a few circuit switches off.
You could do the old rusty trick where you hang something that's important on it.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter when you leave multiple off in different racks.
All right, I didn't know it was that severe, but yeah, Turtle would put his bag on, he'd look at the controller, turn this way, and then all of a sudden you got 8 switches that are off, they're pumping down. He doesn't notice it until it's gone. 2 hours later, a call comes in, and the hand ones, same VA as the regular one, communication, BACnet, MSTP. So you could probably use that BACnet Explorer thing that we have.
You can.
Cool. XIO 4.4. So this is basically it's a combo board. So you have the inputs, digital inputs, analog inputs also probably can be used. Yeah, inputs also can be used for analog outputs. And then also you have your relay outputs. It's just a smaller board. So you got 4 inputs and 4 relay outputs. I feel like there's not really that much to talk about with these.
No, they're fairly simple. Wiring them is fairly simple. The IXO has been a great thing. The only thing is, when you're doing the Spectrum ones, make sure you get a list of points from them, when you're doing this, that it needs to get landed to. And that would be all around better, just a list of points while you're doing these. And I really wish they would stop moving things out of defrost panels. And the last one I did, they moved stuff that was in the defrost panel up to the condenser. They put the split valves were in the defrost panel, and then they moved the split valves and pump out. Also, it was all on the same board. I'm like, this is retarded. Now I have splice box and I have terminal blocks and splices. Now I got to pull 16 wires up to the condenser that didn't need to be there. Now the rack wiring diagram doesn't match. Leave it how it is. If it was in the defrost panel, leave it in the defrost panel.
I was telling the kid the other day, Novar usually will give you an input-output guide of what inputs and outputs are going to be where. And I told the guy, I said, just go over to each one of these boards and basically on the panel be like, okay, that's in the defrost panel, that's in the rack, that's in the condenser. So then that way you can go there and you can figure out what transformers you need even beforehand. But also, 2, now you know that this should be in this general area. I saw some guy was posting some shit on LinkedIn. He was doing one of these, and man, he did it pretty cool, man. He took out all the boards, the Spectrum boards, and basically put some cardboard behind it, and then basically mounted his IXOs on how he was going to do them. And I'm sorry if you're listening, I can't remember your name, brother. But yeah, then on top of that, then he would just mount everything up. And then for the relays, the relay outputs, he essentially just put a piece of wire there. And it's not he wasn't using the Wagos. He was using, you're just going to tell me it's a generic name, but the ones that you push in that are clear.
I hate the wire nut type ones.
No, I don't. It's not a wire nut, but it's just a block. It's a clear block, and you can actually just put the piece of wire in there.
Yeah, no, I don't use those. Those are trash.
I don't like them either, but that's what he was using. But
so
I use the Legos.
So my thoughts on this is, if it has to get extended, it goes all the way back to point A to point B. Like if I'm doing stuff, there's terminal blocks in there, it's going point A to point B. Wow. Then I'm adding terminal blocks. So I will add a terminal splice block. Okay. And I will mark wire in, wire out. Okay. So I will not use any longer. I will not use crimp nuts. I will not use wire nuts. I will not do anything like that. It is any splices in there get made up in a terminal block. And that is all I will allow the guys to do anymore. And it looks so much cleaner and it's so much more easier to troubleshoot. I don't know how many of these retrofitted panels we go to do these Danfoss conversions at, and I open it up and there's wire nuts with 30 wires and wire nuts, and there's shit everywhere. It's pulling out. Like, it looks like complete hammered dog shit.
That's why they use the snap track.
Like, I'm a big fan of taking and just adding in a splice block. So a lot of these guys are doing, I just did a Danfoss conversion at Walmart, and we went from Danfoss to Copeland. We did the same thing. We hung the boards loose. The Danfoss boards are great for this though, because like they don't have a back on them, or that it doesn't matter because the back is, it's not, there's no exposed anything on the back of them. Yes. So you could just hang them. You could generally just hang them, and if they're clipped on DIN rail, it's so much easier to hang them in the air. So what we do is we hang everything loose, we mount it. I am not a big proponent of going around and labeling every wire. I think that takes incredibly too long, and generally I'm going to be cutting wire and either having to extend it. So like, I want to not have to do everything twice. So I'm going to kind of do it on the fly kind of guy. We'll just move it on the fly. Like I'm shutting down compressors and moving wires over. And once we get so many, then we switch the rack over to the new control system for compressor control. And we just move on down the line. And like for defrost and stuff, like if we got to move wires, we move them as we're doing it. Like we generally don't pre-pull a lot of stuff unless we know that, hey, all this shit's short, it's going to a terminal block. Like these two boards need 16 terminal blocks. So we'll pre-wire those terminal blocks. But I ferrule and label everything. But yeah, no splices in any Wagos or anything like that. I will not use Wagos at all. I've had way too many wires pull out, and I've had way too many of them catch on fire.
Good. Yeah, so the other board that it's basically the same thing, except for this one has hand switches. Like I said, it's not, they're fairly, this is a really simplistic board to wire up. It's nothing freaking crazy. With that one, it's 10 VA. I think that was the highest one that I saw, was basically 10 VA. Let's see if there's anything else that we need to go over real quick. Yeah. Oh, that's important. Hold on. Sorry, I missed that. They're saying IXOs can have about 5 linked together. It can be intermixed with also the 1081s and the RCC 1041, the 1044s. Oh yeah, here's some of the nomenclature here. So basically showing you what these numbers actually mean, what it actually shows.
And guys, you could have these in any order. Like here it has 3 output boards and three combo boards in a row, and then some like input boards. You could have these mixed, matched, like however they need to be, but make sure that they're, when you're doing the conversion, if you're doing these, that like it matches how they have the layout on the drawing. Make sure it's in the same, or else you're going to be screwed. Actually, you know what? You don't have to, because they're addressed.
Yeah, you can address them how you want them.
You can address them how you want. So they take it back. Lay the boards out how it's going to be efficient for you to do your stuff. If your outputs are going to be closer to the front of the board and they're going to line up better, move them around. I just thought about that. It doesn't matter because they're addressed modules, so they can
It's not like a standard Spectrum board where it has to be in this general vicinity. It has to be in this general vicinity.
We used to do in Danfoss and microthermal where like the board goes by what number in the row it is. So no, like actually, this is actually more convenient. So if you put a little thought into your layout and you look at your wires, this would be a little more simplistic to do a conversion with.
You maybe reduce the amount of output changes that you have to do. You know what I mean? So with the terminal blocks, do you do that for the inputs as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we do terminal blocks for inputs as well. We try to color code them. We'll do all black for outputs or all red for outputs, and we'll do blue and white or white and black for inputs.
You got to do the Hill Phoenix thing where they just use all brown wire for all their inputs.
Yeah, that's a problem. And then when you're doing the older hill racks, like, a lot of them have a terminal block at the bottom, but it's that 1912 screw terminal block where you need forks for everything.
What's wrong with that?
It's super, super not easy to make look good.
Which one do you use?
I use DIN rail mounted 35 millimeter DIN rail mounted terminal blocks. You could buy a box of them on Amazon for like $15 for a box of 100.
After the podcast, you'll have to show me because I'm curious now which one.
I literally probably have 30 boxes in my garage in pack outs. Like, I mean, we have different colors. Like, we have white, black, orange, green, blue, pink. Like, we have every single color. So for what we're doing, so that way we can make it look nice. Let's be honest, guys. Like, people don't really, if it runs, but like when somebody opens up a panel, you don't want to be like, oh, it's converted, but look at the 30 wire nuts. You want to be like, oh, damn, it looks good from 10 feet away.
Yeah, that by the way, that's it. That's all the boards. That's all the you have the whatchamacallit, the five whatever, the 1081. You have the 1081, but that's basically a case controller. It's those ones. I don't know if you can. I don't want to get myself the line. No, they program that before, right? Because they basically lay out where the inputs and outputs go on those boards, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's not. So it's yeah. And then they had the 1044 can do the stepper motors. Have you ever seen any pulse width Walmart's? Okay, no.
Not a Novar.
They probably do the same thing as what CoreLink does, right? Where they have the little thing that makes a digital output relay or something. I don't know, man. I know it wasn't quick, but it was quick. There's not, like I said, the boards are very simplistic. So, and I don't mean that as an insult. It's nice, the fact that they're versatile, whatever. I was thinking maybe one day we do, you know what? I have a Danfoss drive here now. I wonder, I could probably load a program from a Danfoss Walmart thing. We can go through the parameters for that.
Oh yeah, I've done so many of those. I could do them with my eyes closed.
Yeah, but I need it programmed that way. And I don't know if I have a program for that. I don't know. We can talk about it. It's fine.
All right. Thanks for listening, guys. Have a nice one, eh?
See you next time.